The Phoenix Suns are quietly dominating the NBA. Let's get into this.
Dosage. Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic. Okay.
Quickly before we get the video started, if you guys enjoy this video and want to see more NBA content just like this one, hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. Anyways, back to the video. The Phoenix Suns are coming off not only a great year last year, but also a pretty surprising year as well. Going into the year last year, a lot of people expected the Suns to be a better team than they were the season prior due to the fact that they added Chris Paul to the roster, maybe become a decent playoff team, maybe a 6th, 7th, or 8th seed in the Western Conference. But not only did the Suns overachieve and make it all the way to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, but also they made it all the way to the NBA Finals and honestly easily could have won the NBA championship. But after the fantastic season that the Suns had last year, a lot of people expected the Suns to be a championship contender this year, but didn't necessarily expect them to be a true NBA championship favorites and had teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets on top of them. But so far early on in this season, the Suns are absolutely dominating the league and not a lot of people are taking notice of it. But how exactly are the Suns playing so well? Let's look at what they're doing well offensively and defensively that's turning the Suns into a very dominant team. So of course, whenever you're looking at the best teams in the NBA, what it really boils down to is great offense and great defense. And when you specifically look at this Phoenix Suns team, it's pretty clear that offensively and defensively, they're playing fantastic. Specifically looking at the offensive end, Chris Paul is running this offense extremely effectively, just like he has throughout his whole NBA career, but specifically this year, he's really playing great. Just like he has throughout his whole NBA career, Chris Paul this year is doing a fantastic job at setting up the offense, setting up the plays, getting everybody in the right spots on the court, just making everybody else's life so much easier out there, just getting them wide open shots, breaking down the defense, running the pick and roll or the pick and pop with a guy like DeAndre Ayton. Overall, Chris Paul is just playing so well offensively. And besides just his passing and playmaking ability, he still clearly has the ability to score at this point in his career, where clearly he has a fantastic three-point shot, fantastic mid-range shot, can finish with either hand once driving all the way to the basket, has a fantastic floater within his game, and overall, even though Chris Paul is at an advanced stage in his career, he's still doing a fantastic job out there and playing great. But besides just Chris Paul, looking at a guy like Devin Booker, who for a very long time now we all know to be one of the best scorers we have in the NBA, this season has been no different. Of course, he's an amazing three-point shooter, clearly can catch and shoot from that three-point area, cross over into a three-point shot, sidestep, step back, whatever you want from that three-point area. And from that mid-range area, he can basically do everything he does from that three-point range. Of course, pull up from that mid-range area, cross over, sidestep, step back. Also has a fantastic post turnaround fadeaway within his game, which I mentioned in a lot of my videos, but I think adding that post turnaround fadeaway within your game really takes your game to the next level. And driving all the way to the basket, Devin's also fantastic, finishing over people with crazy athletic dunks, finishing around people either with his left or right hand, also has a floater within his game. Overall, Devin Booker is an absolute superstar, but I think everybody basically knows that at this point. And looking at the third main guy within the Suns roster, you look at a guy like DeAndre Ayton. He's also having a fantastic year, just defensively fantastic, great rebounder, offensively runs a pick and roll and the pick and pop very effectively, specifically with Chris Paul. And overall, DeAndre is just a very complete player, both offensively and defensively. But when you look at this Suns team collectively as a unit offensively, it's pretty clear that their chemistry is very good at this point, and everything's fluid. There's no iso ball, there's not too much one-on-one basketball. Of course, you can have it from time to time, but it's never excessive. Overall, the Suns team chemistry-wise is just fantastic, and offensively, everything is clicking. But after this crazy hot start for the Phoenix Suns, where the Suns record currently is 15-3, do I think the Suns are going to continue to play this well throughout the entire season, and this is actually how good they are? Or do I think the Suns are just getting out to a very hot start, and they're playing better than they actually are? Well, in terms of their actual record going forward, I think they're off to an extremely hot start, and I don't necessarily think this is very sustainable going forward. There's obviously going to be some ups and downs where sometimes maybe collectively as a unit, the Suns are just off for a certain stretch and just can't hit a catch and shoot three-point shot for their life. Maybe they'll go through some injuries, hopefully not, knock on wood, but maybe that will happen and that will slow them down. But overall, in terms of the record, of course, I do think it's going to slow down, and I think they're off to an extremely hot start, obviously. But on the other hand, do I think going forward, the Suns are going to continuously play as well as they're playing currently, in the sense that they're going to be a championship contender and a legitimate one in that, going forward into the NBA playoffs and hopefully deep in the NBA playoffs and maybe making it all the way to the finals once again and winning a championship? I certainly think they are a championship contender and a true one at that, and I could easily see them winning an NBA championship this season. I think based on how they're playing offensively and how everything's clicking offensively, as well as how great they're playing on the defensive end, when you have a combination of that, you're always a championship contender. And when you look at the specific all-stars and superstars on their team, you look at a guy like Devin Booker, I think it's pretty clear that Booker is certainly a good enough player to be the best player in a championship team. And you look at his sidekick in Chris Paul, I think he also has a capability to be the second best player on a championship team. And overall, I think the experience from last year making it all the way to the finals and unfortunately not winning a championship for them, I think that experience is certainly going to help them this year going into the playoffs, and hopefully they'll make a deep playoff run once again and make it all the way to the NBA finals and maybe even win an NBA championship for their sake. But overall, I am very excited to see what the Suns are going to do this year and continue to do throughout the regular season. But in terms of their record, I think they're going to slow down a little bit from where they are currently in terms of pace. But in terms of their actual play going into the playoffs, if I think they're going to be a championship contender and a legitimate one at that, I certainly think they will be. And who knows, maybe if the Suns see that they need something during the regular season, maybe they need an extra three-point shooter that can catch and shoot and just space the floor out for a guy like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, or maybe they need an extra defender on their team that can guard players going into the playoffs like LeBron James, or Kevin Durant on the Eastern Conference, or just somebody like that, just a defender to guard one of those guys, an extra one at that. Or maybe they just need a third ball handler in terms of a third string point guard to add to the team. Whatever they need, maybe they find something that they need throughout the regular season and they can easily go into the trade deadline and maybe trade some of their lower players that they don't use as much, or maybe some draft capital in order to receive one of those players in return and just make their team that much better from where it is currently. I could easily see them doing so, and usually championship contenders usually do that at the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens with this Phoenix Suns team going forward, but overall I am very excited to see what they can do, and I think they will be legitimate championship contenders, and it wouldn't necessarily completely shock me if they do win the NBA championship and beat both the Lakers and the Nets maybe in the playoffs. If I had to guess at this point, I would probably say the Nets have a better chance to win the championship than the Suns, but with that being said, I could easily see the Suns getting it done. But we'll see what happens going forward. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the Suns are a legitimate championship contender, and do you think they will win the championship, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.
Dosage. Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetics. Hope you can't go where I'm headed.